Introduction. You are heading to Afghanistan on a military mission. There's no one on the roads. Roads in Afghanistan are never empty unless someone wants them empty. You're in a convoy that has stopped because a pressure plate was spotted 40 meters ahead. The infantry is behind you. The X-ray came back inconclusive. Now there's only one thing left. You suit up. The bomb suit weighs 85 pounds. It takes 4 minutes to get into. Once it's on, you can't scratch your face. You can't turn your head more than 30 degrees. The visor is fogging up due to the heat, and visibility is decreasing. In Kandahar in August, the temperature inside the suit reaches 120 degrees within 10 minutes. You start walking. The distance between you and the device is 40 meters. You walk alone. There is no one beside you. This is the rule. You don't take another person into the blast radius because if it goes wrong, it should only go wrong for one person. Your team watches from cover. Nobody can help you. You take each step like it might be your last, because statistically, some of them are. You're really good at this, but you also know that being good at this isn't the same as being safe. Level 1. EOD Trainee. You are 19. You just passed ASVAB with a score high enough to qualify, cleared a psychological screening, passed a physical that washed out half the room, and signed a 6-year contract. The recruiter told you EOD was elite. He was not exaggerating. The pipeline is one of the longest in the military. Basic combat training first. 8 weeks where you are not an EOD tech. You are just a soldier learning to follow orders and wake up at 4 in the morning. Then the real training begins. You are at the Navy EOD school at Eglin Air Force Base in Florida. 44 weeks. The attrition rate is somewhere between 50 and 70% depending on the class. They don't hide this from you. The instructors mention it on day 1. Half of you will not finish. Not because you aren't tough enough, because this job requires a specific combination of technical precision, physical endurance, and psychological composure that is genuinely rare, and the school exists to find out if you have all 3. Week 1. Demolitions. You learn how explosives work, not in theory, but by building them, placing them, detonating them. You learn the physics of a blast wave. You learn why the safe distance for a given charge is calculated the way it is, and you learn what happens to tissue when you get the calculation wrong. They show you. It is not abstract. Week 12. IEDs, improvised explosive devices. Homemade bombs have claimed the lives of more American soldiers in Iraq and Afghanistan than any other type of weapon. You learn how they're built from the inside out. You're learning this because you can't defeat a device you don't understand. You're learning to think like the person who created it, which means learning to think like someone who wants to destroy you. You spend hours on your knees in the dirt, hands on training devices, talking yourself through render-safe procedures while an instructor watches without speaking. The silence of the instructor is information. If you were doing something wrong, he would have stopped you already. At week 38, a classmate who has been with you since day 1 fails the final practical exercise. Not by much, he knows the material. His hands shook at the wrong moment. He is gone the next morning. You don't talk about it. There is nothing to say. You graduate. You earn the right to wear the crab claw emblem, which the rest of the military calls a bomb and views as a badge of honor. You're assigned to your first unit. You're now a certified EOD technician. Still, for the next 2 years, you'll be the least experienced person in every room you enter. Level 2. Junior EOD technician. Your first deployment is to Bagram Air Base, Afghanistan. You are 21. The unit has 8 techs. The senior tech has done 4 deployments. He has forgotten more about IEDs than you currently know. On your first call-out, he watches you suit up without saying a word. He doesn't give you encouragement. He doesn't give you a pep talk. He checks your suit connections, finds a loose seal on the left arm, tightens it without comment, and steps back. You walk to the device. It takes you 19 minutes. The procedure calls for 14. You know this because the senior technician later said it should be finished in 14 minutes. You found the device. You identified it correctly. You rendered it safe using the correct procedure. You did your job. You were also 5 minutes slower than you should have been, and in 5 minutes a triggerman watching through binoculars can change his mind. The device was a command wire IED, a pressure plate connected to an artillery round, triggered by a wire running 200 meters to a firing point. Simple. Common. It was specifically designed to take out soldiers like you. You cut the wire, you packed the components, you carried them back in a bag for intelligence analysis. You did not feel heroic. You felt the way a surgeon feels after a procedure that went exactly as it should. Focused, tired, and already thinking about the next one. Over the next 8 months, you respond to 47 callouts, 31 confirmed devices. 16 false alarms, which are not actually false alarms because you don't know they're false until you've walked to them. You find homemade explosives on the roads, at doorways, and in abandoned vehicles. You learn to see the place with fresh eyes. Just as a tracker reads tracks, you learn to read the road. You come home. You sleep for 2 days. Your family asks what it was like. You say it was fine. It wasn't fine. It was the most alive you have ever felt, and also the most frightened, and those two things happened at the same time every single time. And even if you explain this to someone who wasn't there, they wouldn't understand. Level 3. Senior EOD Technician. 3 deployments. 6 years. You are 25 and you have been blown up once. Not directly. Your vehicle absorbed most of it. You had a concussion that lasted 3 weeks, a broken left hand from the blast, and a ringing in your right ear that lasted 4 months. The ringing finally stopped, but that moment still haunts him. You are now the senior tech on a team. This means that newcomers are watching you. You check their suit connections without commenting on the loose seals you find because that's how you were taught. You send them to the device and watch from cover, and you learn that watching is harder than going. When you go, at least you are doing something. When you watch, you count the seconds. Your render-safe procedures are automatic now. Your hands know what to do before your brain has finished deciding. This is the goal of training, to put the correct action below the level of conscious decision so that fear cannot interrupt it. It mostly works. There are still moments alone in the suit, when the training goes quiet and the fear is very loud. Still, you've learned to keep moving forward. You are also, for the first time, helping to identify patterns. IED networks have signatures, like the way a device is constructed, the type of explosive used, the triggering mechanism. Pattern analysis tells you who built it and often where they're building the next one. You brief intelligence officers. You write reports that get read by people you will never meet. Your observations from the ground contribute to operations that you will never be part of. You earn $58,000 a year in base pay plus hazardous duty pay, hostile fire pay, and deployment bonuses. In a good year, total compensation approaches $90,000. You have a clearance that most people in the military never touch. You have skills that every federal agency and half the defense contractors in the country will eventually try to hire away from you, but you're not done yet. Level 4. EOD Team Leader. You are 28, you have your own team. 4 technicians, a robot operator, and a vehicle crew. When a call comes in, you make the decisions. Who goes to the device, which procedure to use, when to use the robot, and when a human has to walk. You make the final decision. All decisions defined in the guidelines as mission risk versus personnel risk. You have never lost anyone on your team. You have thought on multiple occasions that you might. The hardest call you make is not the technical one. The technical decisions are trained into you. The hard call is the team. Managing 4 people who are all trained to be autonomous, all convinced their read of the situation is correct, all carrying the specific overconfidence that competent people in dangerous jobs develop as a survival mechanism. One afternoon in Iraq, a device has been partially disrupted by a robot, and the question is whether a human needs to go in to finish the render safe, or whether additional robot work will be sufficient. 2 of your techs disagree about the answer. You listen to both of them. You make the call. Your senior tech walks to the device. The procedure takes 11 minutes. It is successful. That night, you wrote the report and included both evaluations in full, because the disagreement was valid and needed to be reflected in the record. You earn $72,000 a year. You are in charge. Your wife asks when you're going to do something safer. You say soon. She has stopped pushing back. You're not sure if that means she understands or if it means she has given up, and you are afraid to ask. Level 5, EOD Staff Sergeant, Senior Team Leader. You now have 10 years of service. You have more than 300 render-safe procedures in your career record. You have been promoted to the rank of Sergeant First Class and are leading the largest EOD team in your unit. You are one of 8 technicians responsible for a 40-kilometer operational area. You don't walk to devices anymore. This is not a rule. It is a practical reality of your rank and role. Your job is to run the team, coordinate with infantry commanders, manage resources, maintain training standards, and make the calls that determine how your team operates. When there's a particularly complex device, you can still suit up. Sometimes you do. Your warrant officer strongly prefers you don't. You also train. The new techs coming into your team are products of a pipeline that has evolved since you went through it. Better robots, better detection equipment, better understanding of IED networks. But the fundamentals don't change. You still have to walk to the device alone with your hands and your training. You teach them the way you were taught, not by telling them, but by watching them, and only speaking when something will get them killed. You have started to feel something you didn't expect at this stage. Exhaustion. Not physical exhaustion. You're still in better shape than most people half your age. It's something else. An accumulation of decisions, of deployments, of the specific weight of a job where the stakes are always the same. You carry it the way an old structural injury carries itself. Not as pain exactly, more as a permanent awareness of where the weakness is. Level 6. Warrant Officer, Senior EOD Technician. 15 years, you took the warrant officer path, the route that keeps you technical rather than moving you purely into management. You are the most experienced EOD technician in your unit. There are fewer than 5,000 EOD qualified personnel in the entire U.S. military. At your level of experience, you are among a few hundred. You no longer belong to a single team. You sit in rooms where commanders make decisions about operations, and you are the person they ask about explosive threats. When an intelligence report suggests a bomb-making network is shifting to a new technique, you are part of the team that assesses the threat. 3 of the 8 techs who came up with you are out of the military. 1 left voluntarily, as took a defense contractor job at $160,000 a year and never looked back. 1 was medically discharged after a second TBI that affected his fine motor control, the specific skill that EOD cannot function without. You earn $95,000 a year. You could earn double in the private sector. You have been offered twice. You are still deciding, but now you had to make up your mind. Level 7. EOD Program Manager/Civilian Contractor. You are 38. You left the military 2 years ago. Not because you were done, because after 17 years and 5 deployments and 400 render-safe procedures, your body sent you a message in the form of a hearing evaluation that showed permanent damage in both ears, a back that required surgery after your last deployment, and a VA doctor who told you without softening it that the cumulative blast exposure in your record put you at elevated neurological risk. You sat with that information for 6 months, then you took the contractor job. You work for a defense contractor now, training allied nation EOD units in countries you are not allowed to name. You make $175,000 a year. You travel constantly. Jordan, the Philippines, Kenya, Romania. You spend 3 weeks in a country training a unit and then fly to the next one. Your family lives in Virginia. You still think about the walk, not nostalgically, more the way a retired athlete thinks about the game, with precise physical memory of what the body knew, the weight of the suit, the specific crunch of Afghan gravel under the boots. You don't miss it exactly. You miss what it required of you, because nothing since has asked for quite that much. Conclusion. Somewhere right now, a 19-year-old is in week 3 of EOD school. He is on his knees in the dirt. His hands are on a training device. An instructor is watching him without speaking. This silence indicates that he hasn't made a critical mistake yet. He doesn't know yet about the deployments, or the secondary devices, or the hearing test. He doesn't know about the weight the suit leaves behind even after you take it off. He just knows that when everyone else runs away from something, he wants to be the one walking toward it. And the life cycle of EODs continues in this way. If you'd like to learn more about dangerous and challenging professions like this, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.